pleased and honoured to be here. It's a wonderful occasion. I'm going to read 2 or possibly 3 poems by Christopher Allan that are not in the issue of South 58. In fact, I'm not even sure if these have been published at all. Just to give you an additional sense of his breadth of subject matter. I won't say anything more about him because it's all there in the profile I wrote. And these poems speak for themselves. The first one's called Paper Apples. Through blinds, a seep of milky light painted the dawn in thin stripes across the folds of a sleeping man. An artistic effect achieved each morning, even as the growl of the first truck unlocked the day. And that row of paper apples, whose bough was a thread a finger pull could floor, would slowly green up again to selves no crayon red could ripen. In that cold bed, how he longed for sleep to shoulder him back to a dream of sweet apples and the candour of love. And so pale to him then those 15 apples were, and no bird song to merry the air or leaves whispering like rain. And frail and twisted too, that last morning, each one, heart-shaped and bereft. Once, on a moon-laden night, he mistook them for pearls in their dusky silver jackets. As he blinked awake, they shone an unfamiliar constellation stretched above his 2-bar fire. Then daylight's tide undid the lie. No ripeness rested there, nor treasure held. Neither would love assuage despair. And this one is called -12. His batting average in the summer of 47 put his name on a committee room plaque, and on the last Saturday in June, 2 overs after tea, he hooked a short one into the spinney beyond deep square leg, then squinted to where she applauded from the shade of the pavilion steps. But now it is 2 winters since she was called home, and he misses beyond words the presence he'd felt for more than 60 years. Life is too hard. He knows he has become a burden to the daughters working on a rota to keep him clean and fed, who don't yet know the extent of the diagnosis from an apologising consultant. So, after hearing the forecast of the coldest night for a decade, he now hunches on a dusking boundary, looks to where the trees once huddled, and wonders if the ball was ever found. He takes off his coat, folds it into a pillow, then lies where he remembers the fielder standing. He hears again the cheers and shouts, listens for the clapping of her tiny hands, and waits to see her face among the fading stars. Time for one more?
Oh, yes.
Snowdrops. No wind now, but cold, cold, and the creamy whiteness spilt and spread over everything. Even so, they met as arranged by the stile, now dangerously iced. They embraced and eased carefully across into fields, then under wires where the woods began. The trail they made told its own story, separate at first, then merging into one ruffle of boot prints winding for miles. There was a strange silence, an otherness, neither unkind nor reproachful, that fell upon their senses, entered their breath. The utterings of birds were suspended for the morning, the grey flash of squirrels nimble on boughs, nowhere to be seen. He knelt down for the small treasures he knew were buried somewhere near the trees. Gently he brushed away surface snow till they appeared, just a few at first, pearly lanterns, so fragile and clearly ready for a finger of sun. She reached forward and planted a kiss on his cheek then, glad to be with him on a day when everything froze. Glad, too, for the snowdrops released into sunlight, and something rare to behold, the triumph of tenderness, however brief, over cold.
Thank you.